everyone, my name is Leigh. I'm the Head of Customer Success at ScoreApp. Thank you for joining us today on our Set Up and Score webinar. The purpose of this is really so that we can talk about building a scorecard, launching a scorecard, and then optimizing a scorecard as well. I've got my colleague Sarah with me. She's giving you a wave, and Sarah is happy to answer any questions in the chat as they come up, or also feel free to jump in and ask a question to myself whenever you need to. So just while we're waiting for other people to join, it would be really useful if you could just put a little bit in the chat that sort of says where you are with your scorecard sort of right now. Are you building? Are you yet to start? Have you launched? And then that will give me a really good indication of where everybody is. And it may be that we've got people that have, are yet to start. That's absolutely fine. We're going to cover everything from start to finish. So Rachel, hi, you've got some ideas, which is good. Hi, Joanne, I've created and tested, but need to launch. Fantastic. Hi, Lois, have yet to start, on my to-do list and have ideas, but yes, that's brilliant. Good. Hi, Cressida, I hope I've said that correctly. Building it, have got to results page, but haven't launched it. So making good progress. Fantastic. Michaelange, is that Michaelange? I've had all questions, but I've not yet started. Brilliant. So you got your questions prepared. Hi, Janet, created, published, and busy with testing. Brilliant. Hi, Neil, yet to start. Hi, Miles, signed up yesterday, have some ideas. Excellent. Barry, hi. Based on feedback, I'm doing some changes, plan to have one version and one for pre-assignment survey. Brilliant. So that's great, Barry. Obviously, whatever package you're on, you have more than one scorecard. So it's great to, if you've got a couple of use cases in mind. Hi, Phil, you've built a draft landing page, but you're yet to do the results page. And hi, Christine, you're building it. Fantastic. So I don't think anyone's sort of launched yet. It doesn't seem like fully launched. We've got a few in testing stage, and we've got a few that are just new on board. So welcome to everybody. So before we jump into the platform, I just want to talk about the very first stage before you get to that point, and that is to think about the concept that you're going to create your scorecard for. So I'm primarily going to talk about the fact that it's going to be your lead generation scorecard, but like I said, there are other use cases for scorecards. So it could be that you use one for your warmer leads, for existing customers, for onboarding, for pre-qualification, for internal surveys. So there's lots of use cases for scorecards, and we'll talk about that more throughout the process. But in terms of developing a scorecard for lead generation, we recommend that the concept is based on the common goal that you help your target audience to achieve. So you know your customers really, really well, you know their pain points. And say, for example, I was a health and fitness coach, and I help people to get in shape, to feel better, to achieve weight loss. Then the scorecard concept for, in that example, would be, the Fit for Life scorecard. They could answer a series of questions. At the end, they will be delivered a score. And the categories I could use for that would be nutrition, sleep, exercise. So when they get to the end of answering the questions, they can see where their strengths and weaknesses are, and they can see how close they are to achieving that goal. That's where you're able to then give them some tailored feedback and some valuable content for them that will help them head in the right direction of achieving that goal. And therefore, a scorecard is really of mutual value. You're providing some content, some clarity, some direction, based on that common desire, and in exchange you get to know more about your customer or potential customer, so that you can tailor your follow-up after they've completed the scorecard. You know more about them, and you can make sure that you're targeting exactly the right solution towards that customer. So all of that is possible. So the concept, I'm just going to share my screen now and bring up some slides. So we haven't got very many slides at all, but they're just useful just to talk through mainly the ideas for headlines. So the concept is the idea of the scorecard, and then we've got to transfer that into a headline that's really going to act as a hook and, you know, captivate our audience's attention. So they're like, perfect, this is exactly what I need. So the example that you're seeing on screen is Karen Dyer. She's one of our scorecard customers who has had a lot of success with her scorecard, and she's created "Are you ready to have success with the MS quiz?" So there's a number of ways we can brainstorm potential headlines. So I'm going to go through those, and they might spark some ideas for you. So now you've got your concept in mind, you can see if you can apply any of these techniques to help you come up with that headline. So the first one is just the scorecard name. And that's based on the desire or the goal. So the examples we've got on the screen are the key person of influence scorecard, the high performing team scorecard, the beach ready scorecard. So my example I talked about at the beginning, the health and fitness, it could be the health and fitness scorecard. So it's really just adding scorecard, or it may be that you're using different terminology, quiz, assessment, after that desire that you're helping people to achieve. The other way, so the second method, is to base it on the pain or frustration. So in this way, it's like the avoidance of that. So avoid being hacked scorecard. We've got the fitness injury prevention scorecard, weight gain prevention scorecard, avoid burnout scorecard. So they're all sort of focusing on that, you know, that desire to be healthy, to make sure you've got all your systems safe and protected. But it's just a different way of packaging up that headline to create the hook. Our third way is, and this works really nicely in a lot of cases, is to ask questions. So it's, are you ready? And it would be obviously something suited to your particular concept. So the examples we've got on the screen are you ready to run a marathon? Take the quiz, take the scorecard, you know, find out, you're going to get your score at the end, and then you're going to get some advice that's going to help you to really prepare for that marathon. So that's a really nice one to use. Your fourth is topical or seasonal subjects. So these work really well. So for example, a scorecard that's worked really well this week, I look out for all the ones that are performing really, really well, is one that's, are you addicted to your mobile phone? Because it's relevant, because it's topical, because it's something on people's minds. So it may be that something just comes up and you can create a scorecard to suit that particular campaign at that time. Now, the fifth way you can develop a quiz, and this is delivering a different kind of outcome to maybe just a score. It's to deliver a personality or a highest category outcome. So I'm sure you've all come across them before, but when you answer quizzes and you've picked mostly A's or mostly B's, it means you're this personality style. Well, you can do a similar thing with ScoreApp, and you can deliver an outcome. So examples would be, you know, are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? Answer the questions, discover which one you are. We've got a quiz, a template actually called Discover Your Budgeting Personality Style. So at the end, they're going to find out whether they're a conscious budgeter, a relaxed budgeter, and each of those personality styles obviously has got different advice in terms of how they could manage their finances based on which personality style they fitted towards. So that's possible as well. Setting up the scoring for that is slightly differently, can be done slightly differently. So if anyone's is thinking of doing that kind of quiz, definitely let me know so I can ensure that we cover how to set that up on the platform. So if you've already started, this is going to be much easier for you, but I just wondered if people could put in the chat some ideas that they've got for their headline, like just using any of the methods, or it might not be any of the methods we've talked about. It may just be that you have got a quiz up and running at the moment, and just sharing your headline with us would be really great. It just helps everyone to sort of, you know, further sort of refresh their own ideas as well. So I'll just wait for those to come through for a few seconds. What is your dream client? Yep. Are you ready to determine your dream client? It could work with that headline as well. Don't leave money on the table. And that could be the hook, could be, are you leaving money on the table? Take the quiz and find out. Discover which mindset challenges are limiting your business. Yep. Hone your leadership voice. So your leadership voice, so that's your leadership. So it's discover your leadership score, something along those lines to act as a hook. How transparent is your supply chain? How transparent is your supply chain? I think that one for me, I think I'd need to just brainstorm a few more ideas to get that hook. When are you most productive? Yeah, even just, you know, the productivity quiz, find out how productive you are. Your risk management maturity assessment. Are you ready to decide? And yeah, so yeah, discover your, you know, your risk management score. Absolutely. Do you know your leadership impact score? Like that one. Are you ready to get back your confidence? Yeah, or it could be, you know, take this confident, I think so, discover your confidence score might be a nice one, and put it into that headline. Are you an inclusive recruiter? Yeah. Are you ready for ISO certification? Yes, I have worked with someone who's done a very similar quiz with ScoreApp there, and that works really nicely because obviously it's quite a methodical thing to do, so that works nicely. Your workplace socioeconomic diversity score. Your workplace diversity score. Yes, I think that's could be more difficult to read, but like a more succinct version of that would be brilliant. Are you ready to stand out in your marketing scorecard? Yeah, discover your marketing impact score. Are you safe online? Yep, absolutely. Discover your online safety score. That could work. Discover your life story style. So, Rachel, I'm not sure if that's, is that maybe a branding kind of angle? Discover your personal brand score, perhaps. Discover your overall well-being score. Yeah, so that's nice as well, and obviously really nice to do because you can break down, you know, different areas of wellness as well. How transparent is your discover your supply chain visibility score? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's good. Are you ready to grow and scale your business? Yes, that's a nice one. You know, avoid cyber attacks. Yeah, take the quiz, determine how safe your network is. And my second one is, what kind of athlete are you in competition? Yeah, that would be a nice personality style one. And I think that one would be quite an attractive hook. So we've got loads of brilliant ideas there, and a good range of concepts. So thank you so much for sharing those. Now we're going to dive into the platform and we're going to start to build them. So when you come to the platform, if you haven't yet been here, you will be asked, and let me show you what it looks like, if you want to create a scorecard from scratch, or if you'd like to choose a template. So if there is a template there, which is closely aligned with I'm not going to be able to show you the concepts just now, sorry about that. But if there is a template there that is closely aligned with what you would like to create, then my advice would be to select that template. If there isn't, then I would just start from scratch, because even when you start from scratch, there are different landing page and different results page structures. So it's not, if you feel like it's going to be a massive undertaking from starting from scratch. It's not as difficult as it can initially seem. Whichever way you go, once you've chosen your particular path, you will have this view here, and it's the blue toolbar. If we choose the builder, that's where we're going to focus a lot of our time in setting up the scorecard. And then that opens up the list of the elements that we need to start to create. I'm actually going to start talking through the landing page now. So this is the page, and if we click on this square box with the arrow pointing out, this is the page that you're going to drive traffic towards. And you can see that it's got the URL. So it's that URL that you would embed on your website, that you'd use for your ads, that you'd share the link for on social media. Initially, it will just be your account name with some code, but you can change that. So if you're on the starter package, you can go to settings, and you can see that you can change the element of it before .scoreapp.com, and that could be so it's aligned with your quiz concept, your company name. That would be your choice there. If you're on the advanced package upwards, you've also got the option of using a custom domain name as well, which you can organize by going to your account and domains. You will see the option there to add your custom domain. So landing page wise, let's talk about how we can go about building it, and then we'll cover sort of best practice, and then we'll see if anybody's got any examples for us to share. So if you've chosen a template, you'll be able to click on the landing page version that exists already. If you've chosen to start without a template, you'll just have a very basic default landing page there. What you could do is you can click on the blue button that says create landing page, and that will show you different landing page structures. So if you haven't got a template and you wanted to pick up one of these, if you like the look, then you can choose one and you can completely customize it and brand it. You can also start without a template, which is sometimes what I quite like to do, because once you are in the landing page editor, you can go to add a section, and then all of the available sections will be available for you to create your landing page. So for example, if we click on banners, it will show us all the available banner options. And it may be that you've got a really lovely landscape image that you'd like to use, in which case, you know, that top version. So it's really picking the most suitable version that's going to house your particular image and the content you'd like to feature on the banner. We've also got banners where you've got the form on the page, as opposed to it being a pop-up with the other banners. You can have your lead form before or after the questions. So if you had it after the questions, you wouldn't want to choose a on-page form banner. You've then got your call to action section. So all different sort of designs for your call to action, which on the landing page is always going to be to start the test or the quiz. You've got testimonial sections, which you could use. And on the landing page, they would be linked to how the landing page, how the scorecard has helped that particular customer. You've got category sections, which you could use to talk about the categories they're going to be measured based on, or you could even use it with instructions. So step 1, answer the questions. Step 2, receive your score. Step 3, get your tailored feedback. You can also feature videos on the landing page as well, should you wish to. And then you've got other content sections. So you might want to create some content about who you are, why you've created it, how it works, what the benefits are. You might want to showcase clients that you've worked with, their logos. So it's really, you know, building the structure of your landing page with the sections that you'd like to use. Once you've added them all, you can hover over the section name and you will see some dots there, 6 dots. If you click on those, you can drag and drop them into different positions, and then you can get the flow as you'd like it to appear. Once you're at that stage, you can then start to add your own content and branding. So if you work through section by section, The header section, for example, is going to open up the formatting options for me. So I can upload my logo. And then under, if I click on style, it gives you further formatting options where I could, reduce the logo size, increase it. I could position it left, center, right. And I can also, play with the amount of margin, so top and bottom as well. Each section carries its own range of formatting options. So it's really just getting familiar with all of the options available to you. So I could change, the button color in this particular section type if I wanted to. I can change the image, and you've got the option to search free images. And you've also got, if you click on the funnel, you can search different icons as well. And that can be particularly useful when you're talking about your categories, if you wanted to find a suitable icon. So we can just save that page, and I've talked about how you preview it. You can have as many landing pages in your list as you would like. One of them does need to be made homepage and published. The other ones could be draft, and you've also got the ability to do split testing of landing pages under experiments, which is one of the advanced features, if that was of interest. So let's just cover some best practice for landing pages, and then we can take a look at some examples as well. So what would we like to see on the landing page? Clear, credible, and interesting copy. So we've talked about how the headline can be a real hook, but it needs to be clear, who the scorecard is for, what the benefits of taking the scorecard are, stating the time investment. So how long is it going to take someone? And we'll talk about number of questions a bit later on in the webinar. This point here, be clear on what they will get from taking the scorecard. That is, the benefit. So I think we spoke about some of the examples. Your confidence scorecard was one of the examples I remember you sharing with me. Well, what is that benefit to me? And the benefit to me is talking about, maybe just feeling more comfortable, being able to set yourself and achieve goals, being more confident at work, for example. So it's talking about that ultimate prize at the end. Fluid branding. So that is across all of the elements, from the ad even, or the social post, to arriving at your landing page, to the question pages, to the results pages. So keeping that all consistent and flowing. It can be really nice to include a photo of yourself, of your company, and include some information. So often if somebody gets that landing page, they say, oh, this sounds great, I wonder who's created it. That's where it can come really useful if you just introduce yourself, your experience, why you've created this scorecard, and why you believe it would be useful. Testimonials, you could include those on your landing page of people that have taken that scorecard and it's really helped them to identify what area they need to focus on, or has given them that thought-provoking sort of light bulb moment that they needed to spark change, perhaps. If you have any bonuses that you can offer, we have lots of scorecard customers who have books, who are authors, that run events, that would give away tickets, PDFs of the books, hard copies. So anything like that can be, definitely I'd advise you to put it on the landing page as an extra hook. And then the only call to action is to take the scorecard. Fab. So that is what we'd like to see. Has anyone got a work in progress or a completed landing page tool that we could just dive into and have a look at? Joanne, hi. Is it, I'm going to see if I can find it under your name. Please feel free to sort of unmic and just let me know. If it's not under your name.
I think it's under my name.
Jo, is it one of these?
Yeah, the mindset checkup.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Joanne. Right, so let's have a look at your landing page. So are you leaving money on the table? So that was one of the concepts we shared in the chat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Are you leaving money on the table? Find out which mindset challenges are limiting your business success. The free 1-minute test will help you identify the signs holding you back so you can finally allow yourself to take your business to the next level. So I like that. It's got the hook. So, you know, discover if your business if you could be leaving money on the table. Then we've got that mindset challenge. And I think it's intriguing because it does make you wonder, you know, what kind of that could be. My only thought initially is that I don't see that I'm going to sort of get that score, that I'm going to get that quiz. The first element of it is this sort of test word here. So you know, just small tweaks, but discover if you could be leaving money on the table. Take the mindset challenge quiz assessment, and see if you could take your business to the next level. So maybe just kind of a few small tweaks to that. I think when you use the word test, sometimes that can put people off, just because it seems more serious. So that's just something to be mindful of. And maybe sometimes, you know, quiz, people find that word, you know, makes it not as serious enough. So I think it's really thinking about your target audience, and what kind of language you think would resonate with them in the best way.
Yeah.
So personalized assessment, breakthrough mindset roadblocks. As a business owner, you know that mindset plays a crucial role. You may not realize certain patterns of thinking could actually sabotage. In this assessment, we'll explore your mental blocks that could be costing your business money and provide actionable tips for overcoming them. Yeah, so I think that's nice. That's kind of like, it's great to see content that just goes into a little bit more detail about what they're going to find out in the end. However, you may not realize that certain patterns, I think, again, just slight language tweaks, but discover if, and it's not just the sabotaging bit, but discover if, you know, you're excelling, or that, you know, you're being, so it covers all bases, rather than, and might attract more people to take it than people that may just identify with having an issue.
Yeah.
Take you free, what will you gain? So this is a nice headline. I like this, you know, this is the kind of what's in it for me. And that's what we recommend about the landing page. It's all about the value of what's in it for them. So by identifying and overcoming these mindset roadblocks, you'll be better equipped to make strategic decisions that drive your business forward and increase profitability. Okay, and these are nice. These are the ultimate sort of prizes. So that's what we want to do. We want to drive the business forward. We want to increase profitability. We understand that feedback can be over. Don't worry. We're happy to jump on a call with you to provide a personalized breakdown of your mindset. We'll guide you through the process. So it make it easy to get you started. Provide honest feedback. If you're not ready to commit, changing your mindset, assessment may be, however, if you're ready to take them, we invite you to take our 5-minute assessment. So is that now the 5-minute?
Be one, shouldn't it? Yeah. I think it was 5, and then when I actually went round and saw it only takes like a minute. So I need to change that, don't I, too?
Yeah, so to make it consistent, what I would just mention there is that on the landing page, you want to avoid being sort of sales orientated, and it's all about value orientated, because what you don't want is well, you want someone to get to this landing page. Oh, this sounds perfect, sounds really interesting, sounds what I need, and not that I'm going to be sold to, sort of. And so, because I think you mentioned that we're happy to give you feedback, jump on a call, that just might be too soon. It may be, because your results page is where you can start to showcase that you've understood where they are, how you can help them. So I'd focus on sort of the value at this stage. And if you could, reduce maybe the quantity of content there, just maybe more succinct, I think that would be really helpful as well. And again, just that word, just having to think about that word test. Test there. Have you got any other ideas for how your target audience might?
Yeah, so I think I have to work hard on being succinct. So the questions, one of the feedback on the questions was, you've got 2 questions, you need to sort of like cut them down. So yes, I probably do need to be distinct. With my athletes, so I work with athletes and business owners. With the athletes, they probably like assessment, but I think maybe this one they might like quiz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback.
No problem at all. I think actually one thing, sorry, before I just look at maybe one more example, is that we don't actually have any information about sort of you on there in terms of that credibility piece that I mentioned. So that could be another nice little introduction as to why you've created this and how you believe it will help them. Fantastic, thank you. Did we have any other? Yes, which one was it, Sarah? Oh,
Janet or Barry have said they're happy to look at those.
Barry. Okay, so I'm just going to jump into yours, Barry. Thank you for sharing. Let's see if it's under your name. So discover your pricing power. So discover your pricing power, benchmark your current pricing and margin optimization efforts. Yeah, I like that one. I wonder if it would be discover your pricing power score. So again, it kind of identifies people are quite attracted to that word. We all know that once we get that score, it's our sort of instinct is to want to sort of improve that score. So it can be quite nice. I like the word benchmark your current pricing and margin optimization methods. By answering 30 quickfire questions in 4 minutes about your business, you'll discover your pricing power and the potential of your pricing process to boost margins, reduce inventory, increase sales, and manage it costs. So they're the ultimate benefits. So that's nice there. Take the scorecard. Along with your overall score, you'll receive a score based on the following key focus areas. So this is nice to know. We're going to look at our strategy, our pricing and margin management, and so forth. We've got a little description about that. What people say about us. This new approach has taken a lot of hassle away from the sales team. Due to the high price and aluminium, we could not give our customer a price. This immediate reassured the client. So this, because I'm a cold lead, I don't know who you are or particularly. Obviously, I know it's about pricing, but those testimonials might just be too soon. They'd be great on the results page when you've got that chance to explain who you are. What would be great is to see testimonials where this scorecard has helped them to identify a potential opportunity. Ready to discover your pricing power score, get my score. So we've got that score there, which is nice. We've got the time investment, it's free, only takes 3 minutes. Who we are. Our focus is to help manufacturing and distribution business live better. We focus on the key business activities and functions. Why focus on all the business actions and pricing? short amount of time. So this is nice. It talks about, you know, who it's going to be relevant for. It again helps in the, you know, how is this going to help me? Because it's the why focus on pricing. I almost feel like that why focus on pricing could make a section by itself, you know, earlier up. So I think it was in yours, Joanne, I can't remember the term that you used on there, but, you know, how is this going to help me? How does it work? What's in it for me? Just bringing out that section would be really good. And then you've got book a discovery session. So call to action wise, I think that would be much better placed on the results page, because if they book there, they haven't gone through the scorecard. You want to get that data, you want to give them some value, and then you want to give them the opportunity to book the discovery session. So I would make that just a call to action to take the scorecard. But yeah, I think those couple of those tweaks, a new section about why pricing is really important, and then just changing those testimonials would be fantastic. Brilliant. Right, guys, I'm going to move on from landing pages. Those, thank you very much for sharing those with me. The next element, once we go back to the platform, is the questions. So in terms of questions, I'm gonna actually just start through talking about number of questions. So I'm just going to share back to my slides. So cold lead scorecards, we'd recommend fewer questions and fewer categories. So 1 to 2 categories, around 8 to 15 questions. That needs to be balanced with giving someone a credible score. And obviously each target audience is different. So within that range, you know, if you can, again, it could be that you've got all yes, no questions. So you could go the top end of that number because they're easy to flow through. Just be mindful of the question types that you're asking. If you've got all 15 linear scale questions, that's going to take longer than 15 yes, no questions. In terms of the most favorable question format, it is that predominant yes, no one, because it's easy for them to answer. We want to keep it factual so they don't have to go away and check anything. And then in terms of other question formats, we'd recommend that you perhaps introduce a mix just to keep it, you know, intriguing, a little bit different. So they're not just clicking yes all the way through. It may be that no becomes the negative answer in the positive answer in some points. You've got a multiple choice question in there as well. You have a scale later on. So you can use a variety of different question formats. If you are appealing to warmer leads, 3 to 7 categories, around 20 to 50 questions, and then onboarding or existing customers, you know, the sky's the limit in terms of the questions that you need to ask them. When you come to the platform, you can add categories. So categories, you'll be able to deliver a score against the category as well as an overall score. So that comes back to being able to show someone at a snapshot where their strengths and weaknesses are. So for the example you're seeing on screen, someone could go, okay, I'm doing really well with my sleep, I'm managing my stress, but actually it's exercise that I scored the lowest on that I really need to focus my efforts towards. So I would recommend using categories when they're meaningful to the target audience. It may be that you've got a particular program where you've got a methodology, and they work quite nicely as categories as well. So if you've got like the 5 Ps, the 4 Cs, they could become your categories. Once you've entered your categories, you can sit your questions underneath each category. And we've got a number of question formats that you could use. So we've got yes, no, maybe. And scoring wise, to keep it really simple, you could say, you know, how many hours of sleep a night do you get, or do you get more than 8 hours sleep a night? If they answer yes, award them a point. If they answer no, then they don't receive any points. You have got the option to do a sometimes maybe, and in that, if you do want to use that, then yes might become 2 points sometimes might become 1 point, and no would still be 0 points. You've then got these versions of scales. Scales work slightly differently in the fact that you can make them as big as you like. So you could have a 1 to 10 scale. That's going to mean that there's 10 points available there. And wherever the user places themselves on that scale is how many points they achieve out of 10. And you can set like a left label and a right label in terms of not very confident, very confident. So that's how scales work. You've then got multiple choice options. The multiple choice buttons are really nice. They just get to click straight on the answer and they go to the next question. And, you know, in terms of scoring those, you might ask that question differently. So how many hours of sleep do you get a night? And if someone says 4 hours, they don't get any points. If someone says 5 hours, they get a point. 6 hours, 2 points. So you just go up in strength of their answer and whether they deserve a point or not. And then you've got multiple choice check boxes. So that's the question format you would need to use if you want someone to pick more than one answer from a list. So if you've got, you know, tick all that apply, that would be the question format that you use. Multiple choice radio buttons are very similar to the multiple choice buttons, except you put a tick in the box next to the answer, and then you have to click next to get to the next question. And then finally, you've got open text, which just allows you to gather more information. It's not a scored question. It's just for data purposes, really, and to get people's opinions. So they're the different question formats. A little bit of maths now, just to say how the scoring works. So the platform will add up the total amount of points overall and per category. So if you had 10 points available in exercise across all your questions, it will work out what the person scored against 10, and it will convert it to a percentage, and it will decide what score tier it falls into based on your percentage ranges here. You can change these tiers, you can change the labels, you can change the colors, you can add tiers, you can change the ranges. So that is all possible. And what this does, it means that you can deliver dynamic feedback on the results. So that's where we're going to go to next. We're going to jump to the results pages. So we've gone landing pages, we've gone questions, and now this is the results page. So this is the screen they see immediately after taking the questions. It's going to give them their score, and it's going to house all your call to actions, all your great tips, hints and tips. So this particular example that you're seeing on the screen, it houses a percentage. If we go to add a section, it works very similar to the landing page. You can see different ways you can present the overall score. So you could use a donut chart, a spider diagram, speedometer, a thermometer, or traffic lights. So pick whichever of those that you feel would display your overall score in the best possible way. You can then enable dynamic content. So you'll see a toggle which will open up your score tiers. So you can plug in your content for someone who scored low. You can do the same for medium, and you can do the same for high. And they all sit there and they will just pull in the right version based on how somebody scored. And it's really useful to use that dynamic feedback to acknowledge someone's score. So you can use language such as congratulations, you've done really well. It's great to see. If you're still wanting to, you know, and your advice might be, you know, keep up the great work, make sure you're staying on top of, you know, so you can go, whereas if somebody scored low, you're going to be, look, don't worry, language should be like really reassuring. You know, you can turn your results around really quickly, look at your scores below and see which area offers your greatest opportunity. So that would be the kind of content we would see in the overall score. You can do the same for each of your categories as well. So if you go to add a section, there's 3 different options for you to present your category scores in and your category information. So once you've selected that, you can then start to click on each category, and again, you'll have that enable dynamic toggle button, and you can plug in different versions for low, medium, and high. So here, it would be nice to maybe describe the importance of the category, acknowledge their score, and perhaps give them a couple of things that they could start to think about that would help their score. You know, in the case of, you know, exercise, the fact that we know that they've scored low means that they aren't doing the majority of the things related to the questions, and then your advice is going to be more beginner advice. Whereas if somebody scored high, you're going to give them, you know, next level kind of advice that could get them even further. Once you've delivered all your scores, your dynamic feedback, you can then start to add other sections. Call to action is obviously very important. Now they've got all this great information, you know, what's that logical next step? It could be that booking a discovery session is what you'd like to offer people. It could be that you want to invite them to a webinar, to join a wait list, to join a community. So there's lots of options and lots of different, if we go to add a section and call to actions, lots of different section types there for displaying your call to action. You could then add any other content sections that talk about who you are, showcase, you know, what you can do to help as well. So once you've done that, just make sure your results page is published and set to default. Now the ScoreApp platform will fire off an email with a link back to their results. If you don't want that to come from the ScoreApp platform, you want it to come from your CRM, you can also turn it off. If you're on the advanced package upwards, you also have the option of developing a PDF report. So you will need to create this separately. So your results page might become more of a snapshot, and you might then put the detail into the PDF. When you create the PDF report, I'd recommend starting without a template, and then you can just go and you can have a look at all the different pages. And generally, the PDF would consist of a front cover, an introduction page. You would show them their overall score, show them their category scores, and then you'd start to drill down into each individual category, maybe with a description page and then a next hints and tips based on your score page. You've also got all your call to actions as well, and all of these pages can be dynamic. If you then wanted to attach your PDF to your result email, you would just go to your result email and add the merge field for the report once it was published and made default. So that takes you through creating a scorecard. We are very close to launching an AI plugin, which will allow you to, will really help you to speed up the process of creating your scorecard. That's going to be live over the coming month or so. Right now, ChatGPT is a great tool that you could use to help you create that scorecard. So I'm sure everybody has probably had some kind of experience of ChatGPT now, but it really has. I create a lot of scorecards myself, and it's just so helpful as a tool to help you create your scorecard. So I just wanted to show you how you could do it. So for example, you could suggest headlines for a quiz, you know, aimed at, say, suggest headlines for a quiz aimed at people who would like to focus on their health and fitness. The thing is, ChatGPT, a little bit part of me is always like, because it's so popular, is it going to work right now? And normally it would have done it by now. Here we go. So it's very slow. How fit are you? Take the quiz. I mean, that is a good hook of it. Very simple, but it works. Test your health and fitness knowledge. It's probably not one that I would immediately take up. Are you making healthy choices? Take up, I think that's quite an intriguing headline. So you can see how it can help. It might just spark some ideas. Okay, so once you've done that, and say if we were going to go for the how fit are you, I could ask it to provide some introductory copy, to explain the benefits of taking this quiz. So this could be the content that you put on the landing page. Something went wrong. So you get the idea there. What we will do is, I'm just going to refresh the screen. And then you could even ask it to help you plan your categories and questions. So if for a quiz called How Fit Are You, suggest 10 questions I could use to score someone's fitness. It would then suggest the questions. I could even then use it to say, could you break these questions down into categories? And it would do that. Once you've then got your questions, you can even, when you come to writing your results, you could put, please give me a paragraph of content that's thanked someone for taking the quiz and acknowledges their high score. Please provide content to, if your category is nutrition. I actually even sometimes put the questions under that nutrition category into ChatGPT and say, if someone's answered low to this set of questions, what advice would you give them? And then you can take elements of it, add to it, but it really does help. So I just wanted to show you what a great tool this can be when you're building a scorecard. Oh, this is how many push-ups can you do in a minute? That's not something that you would know straight away, would you? You'd want to go and test it. So probably not that question. How long can you hold a plank position? How far can you run? So if you were going to use a question like that, it'd be like approximately, how many squats can you do in a minute? How fast can you complete a 5K run? Yeah, so probably not the best example, but hopefully it shows how it could work. Fab. So that is ChatGPT. We are coming towards the end of our time. So what I want to talk about is promoting it and then just quickly open up to any questions. So once you've created this quiz, obviously you need to drive traffic towards it. And so it's really sort of having that strategy to share and promote your scorecard.
Leigh, sorry,
Yeah.
I think Janet had a question when you were on the results.
Don't worry, I'm happy to wait till
Oh, okay.
Lee's finished. It's fine.
Hi, Janet. I will jump into your question when we've
No problem. Don't
yeah.
worry.
Fab, thank you. So promotion wise, we have got a great document which Sarah, if you don't mind sharing in the chat, is called 29 different ways to promote your scorecard. That is a great document for you to work through. We recommend that well, there are a number of organic methods, obviously, and then you've got your paid for methods as well. So organically, you can embed it on your website. You can have it on all your profiles, on your social channels. You can post about it on your social channels. You can use it as the call to action on other activity that you're doing. So if you're doing a podcast, scorecards work really well. You can even say, you know, now go and score yourself. Stop the podcast, pause it for a minute, take the scorecard, come back. So they can work really nicely for those. For it might be the call to action after a YouTube video. You might want to post your scorecard link if you're an author into your book, to learn who's reading your book and have that extra engagement with them. Scorecards can be used at events and workshops as well. So I know that you guys will have registered for Set Up and Score via our event registration scorecard. They're really useful because you get to learn more about your attendees, make sure that your webinar is going to answer all of their needs. Joint venture partnerships as well work really nicely. So if you've got a relationship with somebody where you can leverage potentially, their list in return for mutual exchange, that can be a nice idea, as well as your own list, just to kind of, if you've got an existing customer list, it can sort of re-engage any customers that you haven't had any activity with for a while. So they're your organic methods. You've then got paid for advertising as well. So whichever your preferred social channel is, there's loads of options, Google, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. So they're the kind of headlining promotional ideas that we'd recommend, along with that document as well, 29 different ways to promote your scorecard. Where we see great success with scorecards is when that concept for your scorecard is offers real value. You have not only a scorecard that delivers great value, but you have that strategy to drive traffic towards it. And then you have a planned follow-up sequence after they have taken the scorecard. On our platform, you've got the integrate icon, and you can integrate with a number of CRMs. If your CRM isn't here, then you could integrate. The chances are it's going to be available via Zapier. You can map people's scores, you can map their answers across, which allows you to plan tailored sequences as well. If you haven't got a CRM, don't worry, you can export your leads directly from the platform by clicking on that leads icon. One more thing I wanted to mention before questions was we do have a referral scheme for anyone that's interested. Under your account, you will find referrals. So that's top right. You will have a unique referral link in there, which if you wanted to share it with anyone and they signed up, you would receive up to 22% commission on what they spend for up to 12 months. And at the moment, we pay that on a quarterly basis, and we'll reach out to confirm the best way to pay that to you. Yeah, brilliant. So thank you guys. Can I answer any questions? Sorry, I forgot. Was it Janet? How can I help?
Thanks, Leigh. So my question was around scoring on questions.
Yeah.
I've got 6 categories. They're all fine and easy. And then I've got some uncategorized questions, which I think are really useful, but they don't necessarily impact on the score.
Yeah.
So I've scored them 0, but I've realized as we were going through this now that that's going to impact on their final percentage, I'm assuming. Is there a way of leaving them out of the composite score?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So if you've got questions that you don't want them to impact the score, they're just nice to know questions, put them in uncategorized. As long as the score is 0, they won't affect the total score or the category scores. The only exception to that is that if you have if you include a scale in that uncategorized, obviously it's going to assign the points unless you set that default rating to 0.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else got any questions that I can help with? I appreciate we're at time, so if anyone does need to shoot off, just wanted to say thank you very much for joining us. I hope this session's been useful. Please reach out to us at support. We can help along the way. We've got the help desk, the live chat. You can book in a call with us, and we'd sort of love to help you along the way. So just let us know how we can help. Fantastic. Well, really nice to meet you all. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful rest of the day. See you later. Bye.